Can you sell a house in foreclosure? Yes, you can. My name is Carolynn Castillo, absolute top dollar team leader, and we specialize in helping families that are in the foreclosure process, okay? Getting into foreclosure is nothing that anybody ever plans on. Typically in the state of Florida where we practice real estate, when you miss your mortgage payment 3 to 5 months, lenders are different on when you default, but anywhere between 3 to 5 months of missed payments, you will receive a notice of default. And that's basically where the mortgage company has filed paperwork against you saying that you have not paid your mortgage. You know, foreclosure, I've seen it happen to different people in different situations, a lot of situations. I could go on with stories here, but I'm not. You know what I'm talking about. If you know someone that's in foreclosure or you're in foreclosure yourself. So the most important thing is typically when someone goes into foreclosure, there's some type of distress, meaning that somebody lost a job, somebody passed away, there's something happening in that person's life. You've been paying your mortgage for years, totally fine. Everything's been fine all this time, and something has happened in your life, okay? And the mortgage company understands that life happens and people do run into hardships. So the good news is that mortgage companies want to work with you and they want to make it right and they want to get you back on payments and they want to, but sometimes there's just no money, or you just can't make the payments, or, you know, I see it a lot when I'm working on probate cases that two people lived in a home and the person that was the provider passed away and the person that's still in the home is now getting a foreclosure because they simply really can't afford the house, okay? So everybody's situation is different, but this video is intended to answer the question, can you sell while you're going through foreclosure? And the answer is yes. And the best thing is to do, if you determine, and only you can determine this, do you have the financial capabilities, either A, to make a deal with the mortgage company to get caught back up, okay? Do you have the wherewithal to do that? You have to answer that one question, guys, because that's the only question that matters. Can I make the payments? Can I, typically, let's say if your mortgage payment was $1,000 and you didn't pay for 3 to 5 months, the mortgage company typically will make a deal with you. And then those payments that you missed, they'll tack it onto it. So instead of you having $1,000 payment, maybe you'll have a $1,200 payment or $1,300 payment, and you're basically paying them back the past due little by little. So the one question that everything boils down with, can I make the mortgage payment? Period. You have to be honest with yourself, guys. It's a yes or no question. Can I make the mortgage payment? If you find between yourself in confidentiality, you say, you know what, I really can't make this payment, okay? It is in your best interest to sell as soon as possible. Anybody that's facing foreclosure right now has a considerable amount of equity in their house. What is equity? Equity is basically the value of the property versus the loan amount, okay? So the last 2 years, we've been on a huge increase in values. In Florida, generally, we've seen anywhere from a 20 to 30% increase in value. So that means that if your house was, your mortgage, on your house is $100,000, there's a very high chance that you could probably sell your house for $300,000, okay? There's a huge increase in equity in your house. So basically you have a lot of money in your house, liquidated, okay, inside your home, but you don't have money in your pocket, okay? So why do we say to sell? Because this is a very hard thing, because this is your home. This is where you live. Where are you gonna go? That's a big question that I see when families are faced with foreclosure. They're having financial hardship. How do they have the money to move? How do they have the money to go and start over again? Well, that's what we're here to help you with. So when we work with families at Absolute Top Dollar, our goal is to sell your house for absolute top dollar. Guys, I see people selling their houses when they're in foreclosure to investors, to wholesalers, just because it's a distressed situation. There's, like I said, normally someone has passed away, or there's been a divorce, or there's been just something, job loss or a sickness or an accident or something like that. Like that's when I see, you know, foreclosure happening. I don't see foreclosure happening when everybody's happy-go-lucky and everything's great. Just forget about it. We're not gonna pay our bills anymore. That doesn't line up. It's always because something happened to your family, okay? And that's what Absolute Top Dollar, what we stand for, is people that have distressed homes or distressed situations. Investors and other people in the market want to take advantage of your distress. They want to take advantage of the down point that you are in your life. And then they want to say, hey, we'll offer you an option. We'll give you a bottom dollar offer to get you out of the foreclosure. But then you're really not making that much or anything. When we get involved with the family, we say, let's get you as much money as possible, whether it be a cash offer, whether it be selling on the MLS, you know, and then that way you can liquidate your asset, get all that money in your pocket and go start over again, okay? Nobody wants a foreclosure on their credit. Foreclosures last for years and years and years. And I've seen some families go into foreclosure and then they just like want to pretend like nothing's happening, you know, and then the months go by because in Florida, it's a judicial state. So from the day that you get the notice of default, you can pretty much stay in your house for like almost a year or maybe more, okay? But what happens during that year is, number one, your mortgage balance is getting higher. And number two is you have major attorney fees. So the mortgage company works with the family to a certain extent. You know, they send letters, they call, they try to get you on board with them, okay? But if they can't, then at a certain point, they basically turn the file over to a foreclosure attorney. And now that attorney is representing the bank. And guess what? Attorneys are not cheap, okay? And they add on a ridiculous amount of fees that don't make sense half the time. And guess what? I've seen these proceedings live in person when I'm selling someone's house that's in foreclosure. They don't communicate. They don't say why their fees are, and everything is just like, it's a little bit like highway robbery, but it doesn't matter of the injustice. It matters is what's the best move for you. So if you answer that question to yourself, and only you can answer that question, can I get back on my feet with these payments? Okay. If the answer is yes, then do it now. Make the deal with the mortgage company. If you need help having these conversations with the mortgage company, give us a call. We work with a lot of lenders. We work with a lot of banks. We're happy to give you some guidance, okay? But if your answer is no, I cannot make these payments. I'm being honest with myself. That's why I fell behind, was because I have a problem making my payments. Then you need to hire a professional listing agent, okay? This is not the time to hire. Yes, you're in a jam with money, okay? But you don't need to hire a discounted agent, a part-time agent, okay? This is not a time to hire, you know, your waitress, your bartender, your niece, your uncle that has his license since 1866, you know? This is the time that you need a professional listing service to handle this transaction. There's a lot of moving parts with the foreclosure, and you want to make sure everything is handled in the best way, and you want to make sure you get as much money possible for the house so that you can take that money, you can get rid of the foreclosure, so that will leave your credit. You're not going to have a foreclosure on your credit because you settled it. You paid off the mortgage and you move forward, okay? So what happens is that when somebody kind of just like puts their head in the sand and doesn't deal with it, a lot of things start happening. So number one is obviously the obvious. Every month your mortgage payment's going up. Then you start getting the attorney fees, okay? Those are every month, they add up, okay? And then what I have found personally, when I've been to different homes and different situations, is if you can't make your mortgage, you're having financial hardship. I've never sat down with a family that is in foreclosure that could not, that could pay for everything else. Okay, so they're in foreclosure, but their air conditioning broke down and they can buy an air conditioning, but they can't pay. When you're in foreclosure, it's because of a financial hardship. So what happens, everybody knows a house doesn't maintain itself, okay? It's like a nonstop money pit, okay? Houses are a money pit too, okay? Because it's like the AC breaks, the septic backs up, the water heater's leaking, the window just broke, the door jammed, like things, you know, and you don't have the money to fix it. So as the time goes on, your mortgage is getting higher, the attorney fees are getting higher, and now stuff is breaking in the house and you can't fix it. So now your property is getting distressed, okay? So that's why I recommend people, if you get a notice of default, okay, don't mess around with it, guys. There's no sad story, and I've heard some sad stories that will convince the mortgage lender to say, okay, that's okay. Don't worry. You don't got to pay us. You can stay in the house. We understand you had a really bad hardship. I've never seen it happen. It's not going to happen. Okay. So ask yourself that one question. Can I make the mortgage payment? If the answer is no, and only you can answer that, get in touch with a professional like me, where I can come by. I know the process of foreclosure. I know what it takes to get a home sold for absolute top dollar. Your financial hardship does not affect the value of your home. Okay, this is so important, guys, because there's so many people out there that want to buy your house for bottom dollar. When you go into foreclosure, you're going to be getting calls, bam, 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 bam. People are calling because it's a public notice. So now everybody knows, and you know, whoever makes it their business to know has access to know that you have now filed foreclosure. You are having financial hardship. So when you're having financial hardship, there's people that want to come in and they want to relieve the hardship from you. But are they really doing you well? Are they really giving you what you need? Most of the time, not. Because the investor's goal is to buy the house at the lowest as possible so they can turn around, they can sell it for as high as possible. So guys, I hope this helped. If you are in foreclosure, if you got a notice of default, if you have a family member or you know somebody that's dealing with this, please send them this video so I can get connected with them. I'm very caring and compassionate when it comes to these situations, because like I said, I've never seen a family go into foreclosure just for fun. It's always because something tragic has happened. There's been an accident, there's been a death, there's been a divorce, there's been a sickness, there's been a job loss. It's a very touchy subject, and here at Absolute Top Dollar, our goal is to remove that stress from the family and help them to sell the asset for as much money as possible so that they can go and recreate a new beginning and a new life. And we help the family make that transition, whether it's going to a rental, whether it's, you know, all the different options that you have. That's the number one thing to know. You have options. Do not give the bank your house. Do not sell your house for bottom dollar. You have options. I hope this video helped, guys. Carolynn Castillo here. Any questions, send me a DM, drop a comment below. I want to connect with you and I want to get your home sold for absolute top dollar. See you on the next one.